Hi, my name is Kelly Welsh, and this is my submission for ESL 240 Home and School Connections. As educators, it is vital to use an asset-based approach when working with EL students. This means recognizing their multilingualism and multiculturalism as an asset, and working with both them and their families to create a learning environment that celebrates differences and promotes unity. Culture is the context through which humans understand the world, and therefore it affects everything day to day and the bigger picture as well. It affects how teachers interact with students and how students interact with each other. School is a time in which children are typically first exposed to culture and norms that are different than their own, and it is important that we as educators are intentional in guiding them through these interactions and fostering positive and open mindsets that will follow them for the rest of their lives. Cultural competence is important for every educator, but especially for those who teach ELs. Cultural competence helps to create an inclusive environment in which all backgrounds and skill sets are welcomed and appreciated, giving EL students the opportunity to not only learn about the new culture in which they are living, but to share about their own experiences and educate the rest of the class with their background. This can lead to improved communication and overall higher student engagement as children feel that they are valued and respected. Cultural competence starts with building relationships and then implementing different strategies to intentionally include each student's home culture, as well as educate them about other cultures. This may look like activating private knowledge, making learning contextual to their community, or setting up a classroom that includes diverse perspectives. EL's cultural values can and should be integrated into the classroom in a variety of different ways, through books and materials that reflect their experiences, through a curriculum that is culturally responsive, conversations that value their experiences, and visuals that reflect diversity. Culture influences every aspect of learning, whether we realize it or not. It shows up in the ways that we interact with students, how they interact with each other, the way that we communicate, reprimand, and even how we celebrate and have fun. Because of this, it is important that we examine our own cultural background and the background of every student in our classroom in order to best create an environment that is welcoming and appreciative of all cultures present, and that strives to not only respect, but to learn more about cultures that may be foreign to those in the classroom. It is especially important to create a culturally inclusive classroom for our EL students, as it is often the first space where they begin to practice and perfect a new language. We should take care to provide a space where mistakes are encouraged, anxiety is minimal, and where students have lots of opportunities to practice and ask questions. There are many strategies that we can implement in order to ensure that we are celebrating cultural diversity in our classroom, such as using materials that reflect diverse backgrounds, allowing students to share about their backgrounds, and celebrating each student's unique culture through activities such as presentations, artwork, dances, or family celebrations. This leads to creating a space where home language and culture is valued in such a way that it's viewed as an asset rather than a burden. This gives students the mindset that they are gifted in multiple areas and will be able to accomplish a great deal in life because of it. As educators, we also need to be prepared to meet the needs of a variety of different EL students. Each of these students have an identity and different abilities and needs outside of being an EL student. In order to meet these different needs, we can use tools such as small group instruction to teach their different ability levels, different forms of assessment outside of regular testing, such as giving them a chance to demonstrate what they know through projects, oral presentations, written assignments, and more, and through peer work and interaction, through things such as incorporating turn and talk, group projects, or buddy systems to help students work together. When addressing ESL students with special needs, there are also a few critical points to take into consideration. We know that there's an over-identification as well as an under-identification of EL students with special needs. This means that we as teachers are tasked with advocating for our students to receive the proper services and speak up when we believe that they are not receiving what they need at school. We also need to ensure that EL students receive the same level and quality of services as their non-EL peers. This may include additional layers based on their EL status, such as linguistic accommodations, visual aids, and an extra focus on vocabulary. We also must keep in mind that ELs face many different social and emotional needs as well. Many may struggle with balancing their identity as they mix their home culture with their new culture in school. Because of the amount of change and major shifts that are often occurring for EL students, their sense of belonging can also be shaky, and we need to be aware to support them in that area. EL students may also struggle to be confident in a new language and culture, in which case we should give them opportunities with support to express themselves and communicate their wants and interests. It is vital to take students' social, emotional, and cultural needs into consideration when establishing rules, routines, and expectations for the classroom. Children can come to school with a totally different set of expectations and values than those presented at school. Because of this, we need to take time to explain our rules and expectations as well as why we follow them. There can also be class discussions at the beginning of the year as to how we treat and respect others and how that looks at school. Overall, this subject should be addressed with compassion and understanding for each child's background while still maintaining clear and high expectations and standards. Finally, it's extremely important to maintain proper home and school connections. Families and their community practice can influence learning in a variety of different ways. They can boost cultural identity and confidence, enhance motivation, create comfortability and familiarity, as well as support multilingualism. Because of this, we must aim to maintain home and school partnerships through consistent strategies such as consistent and intentional communication, always aiming for clarity, making sure that language is clear and understandable, and looks for ways to support parents. This could be through visual aids, translations, or access to cheat sheets for different and possibly unfamiliar information. We must also strive to be intentional in building relationships with our students' families and being accessible to help them in order to allow them to be more invested and accessible in their students' educations. We must also take care to explicitly explain aspects of American school culture that may be unfamiliar to families. This may look like communicating key parent responsibilities, such as ensuring that homework is completed, helping to organize study time, building consistency, and other skills such as this that can be helpful both for parents and students. We should also practice several inclusive community engagement strategies, such as addressing hurdles that community members may have in getting engaged, having participation in these community events take place in familiar settings to increase engagement, implementing a blend of methods that can be relatable and accessible for a diverse community, and finally, addressing any hesitations or conflicts immediately in order to get ahead of any problems that we may have when trying to build this community and these connections. When we intentionally work to build home and school connections by implementing all of these strategies, we can create an environment that not only supports our EL students, but allows them to thrive.